is Living Power with Dan Hurst.
Now we're in John chapter 4, and we're going to start with verse 45. Jesus has been down, and I'll show you on a map here in just a moment so you can kind of get an overview of this whole thing. But Jesus has been spending the last couple of days down in Samaria, and the Samaritan woman comes to know the Lord, and as a result of that, a number of other people come to know the Lord, and they invite him to come and spend time in the town and speak to them. And so he does. He spends 2 days there. Now he ends up, and now he heads north. And we pick up with verse 43. After the 2 days, he departed for Galilee. For Jesus himself had testified that a prophet has no honor in his hometown. In other words, what it's saying is the reason he didn't go to Nazareth was because he really wasn't embraced or accepted there. But he does go to Cana. So when he came to Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him, having seen all that he had done in Jerusalem at the feast, for they too had gone to the feast. So he came again to Cana in Galilee, where he had made the water wine. And at Capernaum there was an official whose son was ill. When this man heard that Jesus had come from Judea to Galilee, he went to him and asked him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. So Jesus said to him, "Unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe." The official said to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." Jesus said to him, "Go, your son will live." The man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him, and he went on his way. And as he was going down, his servants met him and later told him that his son was recovering. So he asked them the hour when he began to get better, and they said to him, "Yesterday, at the 7th hour, the fever left him." The father knew that was the hour when Jesus had said to him, "Your son will live," and he himself believed, and all his household. This was now the second sign that Jesus did when he had come from Judea to Galilee. So Jesus has left this area in Samaria. He's now in Cana, and this is the second miracle that he performs in Cana. First miracle, of course, was turning the water into wine. Now, I want you to take a look at the map, and I want you to get your bearings on where we are in this, because this kind of helps put it all into perspective. See this area right here? This is where he met the woman at the well. That, where it says Mount Gerizim, Gerizim was the mountain that the woman at the well had talked about, saying, well, our forefathers worshipped on the mountain. Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal were two mountains that when they came across the Jordan, when the Israelites, after spending 40 years in the desert, and they came across the Jordan, Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, which is right in that area, those were two areas that God said, I want you to go, and Mount Gerizim was a place where they were to go and worship God. That's why the Samaritans worship on Mount Gerizim, because they had been told when they crossed the Jordan for the first time, that's where they were supposed to go and build an altar and worship. So they just continued that practice, still do to this day. A number of Samaritans, still about 90% of the Samaritans live right in that area, and they still go to Mount Gerizim and worship there. So they worship in Mount Gerizim. And Jesus has spent a couple of days in that area in Shechem, and he goes and he heads up to Galilee. And right there is Capernaum, right there on the sea, and right there is Cana. So Jesus goes, passes Nazareth, and goes right up to Cana. He's at Cana, and this nobleman is from Capernaum, and he comes over him. That's a 1 day's journey between Capernaum to Cana. That's about 2.5, 3 days journey up from where Jesus was to Cana. So that'll give you a perspective of what was going on there on the map. Jesus is in Cana again. And this official, this nobleman, we don't really know that much about him, but he comes to find Jesus. And in this story, we see some things that I want you to really focus on, and I hope they'll really captivate you. The first thing that we begin to notice in this story is that we see the two biggest demands that people put on God. Even to this day, this is one of the things that the way people are, even to this day. The first thing that they do is they demand signs and wonders. Show us something spectacular. Show us a sign and wonder. If you ever want to get a big crowd, if you ever want to, if a church is dying and they want to get a big crowd, just tell everybody you're going to have a miracle session. a miracle service, and a bunch of people are going to get healed and walk away, and blind people are going to be able to see, and dead people are going to be raised again. They will come through the walls because people want to see signs and wonders. They're excited about big signs and wonders. Everybody wants to be, and I'm sorry to say it, they want to be entertained. That's the way they see it. Oh, let's go see something weird happen. Let's go see something unusual happen. And so they want signs and wonders, and this was no exception to the rule. In fact, in John chapter 6, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but in John chapter 6, notice the encounter here with Jesus. Then they said to him, "What must we do to be doing the works of God?" And Jesus answered them, "This is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent." And they said to him, "Well, then what sign do you do that we may believe you? What work do you perform?" You see what they were doing? They were just trying to get God to do something. What's the work of God? The work of God is to believe. Okay, we'll believe, but show us something. We want to see you do something, Jesus. We want to see a miracle. We want to see something really spectacular. Show us something. Listen to this statement. What you seek after is what will lead you and control you. What you seek after is what will lead you and control you. If you are seeking after signs and wonders, then that's where you're going to be. You're going to be looking for signs and wonders all the time. If you're looking for a relationship with Christ, that's what's going to control you. That's what's going to motivate you. If you're not looking for any of that, whatever it is that you are looking for, whatever it is that you seek after, that is what's going to lead you. That's what's going to control you. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, starting with verse 9, "The coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Satan with all power and false signs and wonders." Because Satan knows that people are motivated by signs and wonders. The world is looking for signs and wonders. Christians today are looking for signs and wonders. Oh, we want to see God move. We want to see signs and wonders. And Christians will travel miles to see some evangelists do signs and wonders. And then verse 10 says, "And with all wicked deception," combines the two, the signs and wonders that Satan is going to do to lead people away, with wicked deception for those who are perishing, because they refused to love the truth and to be saved. For so many people, it's not about truth. It's about signs and wonders. It's about, let me see something spectacular. Let me see God move. Let me see God do something that you want to sit back and go, wow, isn't God great? Well, yeah, but you're not so much impressed with God as much as you are impressed with the signs and wonders. Show us signs and wonders. Matthew 24, starting with verse 24. "For false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect." The elect would be the Christians. "See, I have told you beforehand." I'm telling you, Jesus is saying, this is going to happen. If you are so focused on signs and wonders, believe me, you are going to be led astray. If it's all about seeing something spectacular, seeing God do something really marvelous, that is going to lead you astray, because you're going to be led astray by false signs and wonders. Now, certainly God still does signs and wonders. There's no question about that. He always has, and He always will. And we see Him do signs and wonders. We're still seeing Him do signs and wonders in the world today. But this general attitude of, show us, we want to see God do something spectacular, is a very dangerous one. And it was one that was motivating these people, and Jesus knew about it and had to deal with it pretty much His whole ministry.